What about this election for you stands out?
Well, you see, it's very different. What stands out for me is two things. One, the Democrats finally began to get framing, and they did it really well at the convention, and they did it pretty well, otherwise. But the other thing that stands out is that it's a 50 to 48 popular vote split, that the Congress is still there, and that he managed to eke out small victories in swing states to get the big electoral win, but not, we still have this major split in the country. Now, the question is, what is that split made up of? And it's made up, the split has to do with two different moral systems. And what's interesting is there are a lot of people who have both, who are so-called moderates, independents, etc., who are partly conservative and partly progressive. And the way you talk to them is not through the particular policies, but through the moral system and through the general deep truths of that moral system on your side. Don't go to the other side. And the Democrats haven't learned how to do that between elections. So to get support for what's going to happen in the next election and to get public support now, they need to be able to do what the Republicans do. They talk about general ideas. It's all the government's fault. You have to have liberty, blah 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 blah, do your own thing. We built it. Nobody else helped us, etc. And what Obama did in his victory speech was do the right stuff on that. He gave the general principles. And the general principles that he talked about were things like the country works by people coming together. That is, we provide things for each other because we care about each other. And that care is crucial. And the only way that works is that citizens take responsibility for that, and that works through the government. So politics matters because you have to have a government through which citizens can care for each other, and only then does the private kick in. So one of the messages that isn't said overtly is that the private depends on the public, although it's said covertly, and it's believed. But it needs to be said overtly. It needs to be out there. That politics is a profession. And when it's done for moral reasons, it's a crucial profession and deserves public support. And the government is the instrument of citizens and has to be understood that way. It's not the government that is doing this or doing that. It is the citizens through their government who are doing that. So those are crucial things that need to be said, after this election, in between elections, that are implicit in what has been said. But Obama, in his victory speech, actually made them explicit, which is very needed between elections. There's a second part of that, which is that a consequence of this is that austerity is exactly the wrong economic policy. That it's the wrong policy because it does not create wealth where wealth is needed to build the economy, and it does not create the infrastructure for all the other things to happen. It doesn't support the basic research. It doesn't support, not only the roads and bridges, but the public buildings, the public schools, all the things that are needed for people to then be able to be provided for so that they can then pursue whatever they're going to do. And the crucial thing about this is that these public provisions are essential for freedom. That these are freedom issues. They're not just economic issues. They're not just fulfillment issues. This has to do with whether you are free to pursue whatever you want to pursue in your life. That's I would say, the basic thing that hasn't been said. And even in his speech, Obama didn't take it to the freedom issue, because that's where he missed. You need to take that extra step to talk about why this is about democracy and about freedom.
Thank you very much.